Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about 18th century coats, or wool blanket coats. And I know it's summertime right now, but we're going to talk about not only their relevance in wintertime scenarios, but also in the summertime scenario, and how they were used effectively in both of those seasons. So, stay with me, and we'll get started. Alright, so first let's talk about the origin of the coat, and kind of how it came about, and its basic design. Capote is a French word, and if I remember correctly, it means a hooded cape or coat. And the French are really going to be the founders of the capote. The French voyageurs were some of among the first to make and use a coat designed like this, simply taking their wool blankets and stitching them into really a long cape with sleeves and a hood, and became very popular with them, and then spread in popularity throughout Canada, the Métis tribes, and the various natives of that land, and was even sold by the Hudson Bay Company. And their popularity spread also down through the colonies, and was even used by the mountain men all the way up through the 1840s and 50s, and by various individuals after that. So, let's talk about the basic design of the capote. You can pretty much get its design from its name, a hooded cape, because that's essentially what it is. It's a long woolen coat that usually goes down past the knees or to the knees, and especially the earlier ones were longer. As you get up through later years, it'll shorten a little bit sometimes, but it depends on the individual. But see that it's a pretty long coat. It's got a nice big pointed hood on the top, and then big woolen sleeves as well. And one thing to keep in mind when you're making a capote is to make sure that you don't make it too small. Make sure it's big and bulky, because when you're out in the winter weather with this thing, you want something that's going to have a lot of big airspace between you and your skin, and gives you room to wear a lot of underlayers. And you see, it looks pretty big on me, but it's very beneficial. I like it this way. It's much more comfortable. You have a lot of freedom of movement, and it's going to keep you really warm. Not only because you've got a lot of airspace, but also because it allows you to keep or wear multiple layers underneath. So keep that in mind. But basically, you see, it's a long coat going down to my knees, and it will be closed either by buttons or by a belt or a sash around the waist. Alright, so now let's talk about how you would employ an 18th century capote in not only a wintertime environment, but also a summertime environment. First of all, obviously you wear the capote over multiple layers of clothing, and that's very important. When I made my first capote a couple years ago, it was too tight, first of all, so I didn't have enough room to really create a good air pocket, and I didn't have enough layers underneath my capote. And so when I went out first with it, I was walking around, and it worked pretty good, but I thought it would work better, and that was really all because of it was really all my fault. So keep that in mind. Always have lots of layers underneath your capote, and when you make your capote, make sure that it is properly sized. And I would say make it a little bulky, definitely. Also, when you're walking around in the woods in the middle of winter, you don't have to wear your capote. Don't. Because if you're walking around in deep snows on snowshoes, possibly even pulling a toboggan through the woodland terrain, your body overheats very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why you wear multiple layers as well, so you can shed those layers as you overheat. But I generally carry my capote either on my back, or you can throw it on your toboggan, because if you're walking around, you overheat, and you don't need that coat on usually when you're traveling. if you're just stationary, yeah, you're gonna need the coat. But generally, for someone in the 18th century who was traveling in a wintertime environment, you wouldn't wear your capote all day. You would have your several layers underneath your capote, like your waistcoat and then maybe a hunting shirt or hunting frock that you would wear, carrying your capote on your back, and then using it more as a sleepwear environment, or sleepwear, because you're wearing your underlayers all day as you're working. So keep that in mind. Don't wear this if you're doing any kind of physical exertion, because you're going to overheat and sweat, and then you're going to freeze. For summertime, you may think the capote has no relevance with a summertime scenario at all. But actually, I like to carry the capote in the summertime because it's more of an ultralight kit, camping kit. Any serious 18th century living historian usually has a pretty ultralight kit. They're usually very small and compact, because that's how it was done back then. You didn't carry anything you didn't need, because that's just extra bulk and weight on the trail. So, do I need to carry a full-size wool blanket in the middle of summertime? I don't think so. Is there any problem with that? Is it really that much bigger than this capote? No, it's not really. But this is actually lighter, and it is a little bit smaller and compact. So I actually like to carry this as a sleepwear item in the summer as well. All I have to do is, throw a tump line on it, throw it over my shoulder, and I'm good to go for the night. Really, with sleepwear and cover wise, the big hood really adds a lot of comfort. It's like a pillow, and it makes it pretty comfortable to sleep out. So that's what I think the relevance is with the summertime. Is if you've got this, you have basically full body coverage and a hood and everything too. So I think it works really good for a summertime camping kit as well. But that's what I have to say about capotes. My particular capote here was made from a 100% wool blanket. I think it was a Pendleton Mills, something like that. I actually found in an antique store for $15, a full-size wool blanket, $15 in this cream color, which I didn't really like as much. I wanted a white, but for $15 I didn't turn that down. And remember that capotes were made from all kinds of different blankets, generally point blankets, from the ones like the Hudson Bay Company, and they were actually some were very elaborate, with lots of elaborate stitching and trimming and things of that nature. But this is just a simple, basic capote, and it works very well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll have some more up soon, and see you next time.